Hello!
Hello, AOS fans!
It's the Agents of Sigmar.
And today we're going into the dark.
Into the dark.
New Kill Team box.
Ooh.
Very excited to be sent this from Games Workshop. We don't normally always get Kill Team stuff, but I did put in a special request because I was really excited about playing Kill Team.
This is
confines of a spaceship.
This is like your ideal Kill Team 40k game, isn't it?
This is what I've been waiting for. This is kind of like competitive Blackstone Fortress almost. I don't know. It is what I've been waiting for, and I hope it is what I want it to be.
I think this is when we tried Necromunda at the start. It was like that was almost it, but too many rules, and then we got Kill Teams. Like it was almost it, but too many rules.
There's a theme here, but I'm feeling like we can play as simply as we like and just enjoy it. People, our new live streams have made me realise that people just like watching us just play simple games and just. So I'm hoping that we can just strip out any complex bits we don't like and just play a nice simple game of running around a spaceship going
yeah. So here is the box, and we're going to open it now. We're going to unbox it, as the title suggests. We're unboxing it. We're going to have a look at the stuff inside and just try and tell you whatever we can find out about it. And if you do have any questions, do post them below. Do like, subscribe, ring that bell, all that good stuff. And yeah.
Absolutely. Before we do break it open, I am just going to say, and today the Games Workshop showed that little list of, I can't remember what the four things were, the four boxes that they're going to bring out in the next year. Again, which made me think...
It's a bit sort of Kill Team-esque,
they're going to support it is Kill Team.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, like the original Kill Team with the different zones, but it's all on the same. It's all on the same space hulk this time.
Yeah, exactly. So that really piques my curiosity further.
Because the one thing and we're going a bit off topic here already, but the original Kill Team, the thing I didn't quite like about it is they were all on different planets, so all the different sceneries and the zones were very different, which a lot of people liked, but I didn't like so much. But this, it's all on the same space hulk, so I wonder if they can.
It's going to build.
You could get 4 of the boards, and one they could, one would be particularly warped by chaos and the warp and all that kind of stuff, and maybe they'll sort of meld together.
And I do like this new way, because they're doing it for Warcry too. I do like this new way of doing it. I mean, some people say it's just a cynical way to make money, but that is their whole reason for being.
That's what they're going to do anyway.
So I'm really excited to buy it. Let's have a quick look in the box then. Yeah, we'll just say another departure. First time I've ever noticed this is that they may have been on other boxes. They didn't come in cellophane.
All right.
They came with little sticky tabs on the floor.
Okay, well that's good.
Off, which I thought that's good. So no cellophane. It was much easier to get open.
A lot of people
a slight mark.
A lot of people will hate that, I suspect, because the little mark, which is almost imperceptible, but also their box might get tarnished, and frankly, doesn't matter. Less plastic, that's good for the environment.
Exactly.
One thing we've got to say straight away:
box of massive plastic.
This is huge.
Yeah, I mean it's the same size as the Octarius box.
And it weighs the same as like the Horus Heresy box.
It is similar in size to the whole Horus Heresy box. Yeah.
So we're going to try and open this now, and it's huge. And we're into the box. There we go, unboxed.
That's it. Well done.
Thank you very much. See you next time. No. So, as usual, mounds of grey. So I've got one of the Kroot sprue there.
I am Kroot.
Kroot.
Yes, I mean there's
many Kroot sprues.
And this side is all the scenery, and I'm just really excited to put the scenery together. I know Games Workshop have spoiled all this and you've shown it all. I'm really looking forward to putting it together, spraying it black and then dry brushing it.
Now there is tons and tons and tons of bits and pieces on this sprue for the fights, because I've got the I can't remember what the Imperial team were called on this one again, but I do like the little stubby shotguns they've got and stuff. It does give that feel of like very close quarters combat.
Yeah, and that was one of the other things that appealed to me about this box actually. I like it when they do different things, and I know the Empire Man is huge, but I love the fact that, or the Imperial Man, I love the fact that these are basically sort of like naval officers or something. They've got totally different new flavour, which is what I like about their smaller spin-off games. They can do that kind of thing with Kill Team and Underworlds and things.
The scenery itself is, like with Necromunda stuff, is heavy duty. It's really thick bits of plastic.
It's very reminiscent to me of the Octarius stuff, which I know was from the Orcs, but it is very, like you say, very heavy duty, very thick.
And the nice thing about it is that this is for modular gaming. To represent all the corridors and stuff like that, but you could incorporate this into regular games of Kill Team or 40k or stuff like that. You could easily use it to make a little base and things.
So a good 3/4, not more than that.
Probably even 4/5 of it.
Is the scenery.
Massive.
And you have got one of the little cards, which is pretty bashed. So
it has taken a lot of... You might not be able to see
essential.
that, but it has taken quite a bit of punishment.
So in the box then we've got, I can't even lift it out, it's so heavy. We've got the core books, there's another core book. These are softback. Bases. And there's an Into the Dark book. Got bases and more dice. The only problem I have with these core sets is you just keep getting dice, which you just don't need.
GW need to do a version of these games which is like diceless.
I'm guessing it's not what cost effective.
No, true, possibly not.
I guess that's the problem.
Did you take a sprue out that had the measuring things on it? Because it does have the measuring device on it again.
Yes, it does. Here it is.
There we go. It's the same as before.
And the barriers as well.
Same markers, same barriers. So if you already have some painted up from Kill Team, then at least you haven't got to worry about that.
Go straight on the eBays.
So again, we've got a double-sided cardboard board. This is wrapped all in plastic again, which is a bit of a shame, but yeah.
Yeah, everything in here is cellophaned up.
And I mean, I do like this board. It's very reminiscent of like the Necromunda.
It is
board.
Very similar to the Necromunda board, isn't it?
Now, I've completely folded this out the wrong way. And there we go. So there's the board. You can see it there. I mean, it's a pretty standard, but the detail on it's really nice. It's just a standard sort of like Space Hulk kind of board with the different sort of, I can't even think of the word for it now, but just the walkways and stuff like that.
It's the same size as the other Kill Team board. It feels smaller, but maybe that's just because we play on a map. I can't remember.
Slightly disappointingly, it's the same on the other side.
Okay.
It's identical on the other side, pretty much, because the artwork on these two panels is the same, which is a little bit of a shame. And I think they did that on the Kill Team ones as well. If they weren't identical, they were very similar hues, which is a little bit disappointing. Gigantic box, and there's the back of it.
And we've got 2 decks of cards. I'm going to assume these are like the mission type cards for
each team.
They fit very tightly.
They are really tight in here this
Plant
time.
Banner.
They might actually even be the same thing. Rob and Ransack, that sounds familiar. Hold the Line.
Just the sheer jam-packedness of that board with all that scenery on it is something else. So I'm looking forward to putting it all together.
It is pretty impressive, the scale of the amount of stuff they've squeezed into the box. Yeah. But that's what GW do best, I think.
That is their things that they are very good at, is getting a lot of stuff into a box. So we're going to go off and make some of this stuff up, have a look through the rules. And we're recording this on the 25th of August. We've got until the 3rd of September before it goes live. So we'll have another next week. We'll do the rest of it. So there'll be, through the magic of editing, we'll be wearing different t-shirts and what have you. But we're going to go over this. We're going to look at the details of it. And then in the future, we're going to play some games, probably as simple as it possibly gets.
Yes, yeah. We will try and stream it live, though, so that if people do have questions and stuff, we'll be able to answer those as we're playing, and you'll be able to see the game as it's played, rather than a lot of the time a lot of people play these things very cut down and very they make it seem a lot more streamlined. We want to try and do away with that hidden element of it. Really
that level of competence.
Yeah, exactly.
And
exactly. We want to show you exactly what it's like for somebody who's a complete idiot playing these kind of games, just so you can tell, is it the kind of game, are you the kind of idiot who wants to play it?
Yeah, okay, so we're behaving like this at the end of the video. It's not, it's going to be more in a minute, but we'll see you in about a week.
All right, bye. And we're back again.
Hello.
Hello there.
Yes, it's been a whole week.
It has. Time has just raced by.
Yeah, it was a week for us, but like literally seconds for you.
Milliseconds.
But in that time, we've done some building. Ooh. Now, you brought the crew, you haven't brought those along.
I haven't brought them along because I forgot. But I might stick some pictures on of the recruit I built. Okay. I built about 8 of the 12, I think. I've built most of the fancy looking ones and the recruit hounds. So.
I have built 5, as you can see here. You can't really see, but 5 there. I sprayed them up black. That's as far as I got this week. And I built all the terrain. How did you find the recruit? And don't say they were on the sprue.
Oh, he knows all my good jokes. They were okay. They're not the worst models in the world, but lots of them.
That's a ringing endorsement.
Yeah. I found a lot of the recruit models. They had they've got long guns, a lot of them, and tiny arms because they're little T-Rexes. They're not, but they've got regular sized arms. So often you've got this really long gun that you've got to stick on, and they've done that typical thing of you've got to attach one arm joint to the shoulder, and you've got to attach the other arm joint to the shoulder, and then you've got to attach... I don't know a good way of putting them together. I can't find a sequence of sticking things together that either doesn't leave the arms completely at the wrong angle to go on the body, or what? Tell me. Someone tell me.
I have to say, that is why I hate building certain types of miniatures, and so far, 4 out of the 5 Navy guys I've built have got that that same thing. They're a little bit better than some. They're not completely flat surfaces that you're trying to stick on and just hope you get the hand in. They have got little nodules.
Some of them have got some kind of
They do have an orientation, but it's not like. I mean, we're spoilt a little bit, I think, with the Underworld's clip fit because when they go in, and they stick like that, and they're done. Whereas these, they're not so deep where they attach that you can't push them too far and then it's sticking in the wrong place.
Some of the Crute legs are like that. So there's like this angled surface that the leg has an angled surface to match it, but it's not a tight fit. So it could go in there, but it could go all over the place.
These are the same. I'd left the bases in here and I was doing it in there. It wasn't until, luckily, it hadn't stuck completely. I realised without the base, I'd actually built one of the legs actually slightly in the wrong angle.
Just like up here somewhere or something like that.
But what I find frustrating about these particularly is that they've got their guns across here, and I'm not one of these people. I don't do sub-assemblies.
Yeah.
And I don't think most beginners, I'm not beginners to hobby, but most beginners to hobby don't do sub-assemblies.
No, because you want to get them put together because they look awesome.
And you want to play your game.
Yeah.
And then so now I've got all these guns that are across here that covering out all this detail that I'm not going to really be able to paint.
I mean, I have a similar thing with my Crute. I've got one that's brilliant. He's got like one pistol in his hand, his other hand's reaching across to grab the other pistol, but obviously his arms across his chest and all this kind of stuff. I'm just going to slap chop them. So, if there's any kind of recessed detail, it's just going to not get seen.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm kind of going to be doing something similar. I think that's a bit of a shame. And I know obviously you can do sub-assembly, but I find particularly with those hands, you can do a sub-assembly, but then by the time for me, I'm a bit cack-handed with the glue. So by the time you've painted it all, and then you've got to try and stick it together, and then you still might just screw it all up. So I don't like doing it. I do like the ones where they fit nicely on the weapons, and then you can just pin the arms in afterwards. Quite a lot of the old Star Wars Legion models are like that. They've got very deep recesses, so you can stick the arms on a pencil with some blue tack, and then when you finish, they just clip in. And
that's not so bad.
Good. That's not too bad. So they were not as horrible as the Krieg, because if you remember, I had phoned you up sobbing in the middle of the night after I'd done about 2. And so these aren't as bad because I have done 5.
You've done 5 of them, and they all they're not like completely drooping forwards or anything like that. So, I mean, I will say the other thing I found a little bit annoying when putting them together is a lot of them have like option A or option B. So immediately like, which do I want? Now, the Crute and I think your guys, most of them were just like basic person or specialist person. Yeah. So it wasn't like the Krieg where it's like, which one of 3 specialists do you want? And it doesn't matter which one you pick, it's going to be the wrong one.
I don't know whether that's a thing they've learned or whether it's just coincidence. I'm not sure.
It's hard to tell.
We are going to be going for, if we play the games, or when we play games of this, we're going to be going for Kill Team for Dummies. Yeah. So we're going to mostly be playing just the standard, I can't remember what they're called, naval gunners or something. They're not called.
And I'll just be mostly having the regular Crute, and then we'll maybe have a specialist. And
so I've kind of gone very basic on the ones that I built so far. But that said, some of the non-basic ones are really cool.
They do look very
nice. So we'll see how we go for the others. But I don't like that kind of. I have to make a decision about how I build this model now.
Well, I texted you, didn't I? I was like, can you send me the weapon profile for the heavy weapon? Because I don't know which one to make. And you sent it to me, and I was like, I still don't know.
No.
And also, I don't actually know which model is which because it doesn't show you a picture. So I just figured I'm going to make the one that looks cool, and I'm going to tell you what it is, and no one cares.
No, exactly. I very much felt like if you were a purist, you would be looking at getting 2 boxes.
Yeah, to make all the different options.
Making the alternative of the options. Now, the terrain is awesome.
It moves. I mean, if
it does move. I haven't actually moved any of it since I painted it, but so hopefully it's still
doors. And you might not be able to see this. And GW probably also. I think they already have revealed it, but the doors themselves. If I can get this off the board, so the doors actually open.
Yeah,
and that matters in the game.
Don't stick the door. Don't stick the doors. It does stick the doors.
It doesn't matter which one. It does matter if they're open or shut because you can actually see them or not see through them. Obviously, because they're shut or open. But
you haven't. Maybe I won't do it all now. I haven't realised I should. But after I sprayed them, I didn't open the doors. But hopefully not.
They'll be fine. They'll be fine. Yeah. But I mean, the models, the detail on it is fantastic as with all the GW.
Yeah, I mean, and it fits together like a dream. I have to say, I'm going to have nightmares. Oh, one thing I completely didn't say. This tray, it's only half the terrain.
It's huge.
I've still got half of it to build.
And I mean, the actual game surface is around the sort of size of this silver board, so you're going to have tons on there by the time you're done.
This is an old piece of garage studio roof.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Those top bits come off.
Oh.
So they kind of, I don't know how well, because it's quite a snug fit. But
it's a very snug fit.
They don't come off. Because it's all modular as well. So these aren't stuck. This bit here, okay, because it's all been painted on, but this bit here, look, comes off. And
So this bit snap.
I think this bit probably.
So are these actually stuck, or did you just put them together?
No, none of it's stuck.
Okay.
But just you do need to check which bits are.
Which bits should actually come apart. So so there's a bit there. Again, I can't because I need to take the top bit off to really.
Yes. So some of them fit. Some of them fit. They slide into these grooves here, and some of them, this bit has a diagonal. So this is a long piece with a diagonal cut, and this is a piece with a diagonal cut. So you push the two together, and then put those kind of hubcaps on the top.
These diagonal pieces, which you could possibly.
Or some of them are like this, which are square pieces, and there are square pieces with the grooves directly opposite each other, and some with the grooves at 90 degrees to each other. So you can build different configurations.
And it's that typical thing again of it's just wads of detail all over them. And
I was thinking, this would be really fun to paint. Simultaneously with, this will be a total nightmare to paint.
This is going to kill me.
This is
the thing that breaks me.
Hours and hours and hours to paint. And they've got all the cables on them, the lights.
It was like the Orc one from the previous season. There was so much detail.
This is better than the Orc one, because the Orc one, at the end of the day, was just a big solid lump of scenery.
And it was Orcs.
Yeah.
It was Orcs as well, which is, it's like, why would Marines fight Nids over an Orc base?
But this is like modular beauty, and it reminded me a lot of the Mantic Dead Zone scenery. And we've done a big video on which
Mantic
is better,
Kill Zone, yeah.
Kill Team or Dead Zone. The modular, and we talked about the modular terrain and the square board. This would actually work pretty well with that if you bought this.
If you sized it up properly.
If you sized it up, it would work pretty well because it's modular, and it's so much more. It's probably a lot more expensive, but it's so much more robust than the Mantic one. I built the Mantic stuff in the modular set, and basically, if I sneezed or breathed too heavily, the whole thing don't break that one.
Snap.
If I breathed or sneezed too heavily, the whole thing would have fallen down. This fits together like a dream.
One thing I could see,
they've got lots of these kind of. They all have these 3 pins kind of thing to fit in together. It slides into these holes. It's a dream.
I could see it being a bit of a pain having to set up the board and assembling it all to start with. That's going to take some extra time.
It does recommend that you write on underneath because everything's coded in the book.
Oh, okay,
it's coded in the book, and you can write on the bottom
so you can
what
then,
the pieces are.
That's quite good because then you could store it all upside down, and then you know exactly what you've got to go where. So I like that.
There is one curious thing about the kill zones in the book, which I don't really understand.
There's 2 kill zones.
Yeah, it talks about kill zone Gallow Deep, which is kind of the main, and then this extra supplement kill zone into the dark. And when you get the book, you'll see what I mean. I almost can't explain it. Kill zone into the dark seems to be these little bits of terrain pieces that add on extra into the Gallow Deep, but it's very specific about don't do these with the into the dark ones, only do the Gallow Deep ones.
Yeah.
But then there are maps
that use them.
So I'm confused by that. If you ever understand it, just put it in the comments. It's one of those things that in the abstract, when I'm reading it, I did read it 2 or 3 times. I just don't get it, and it would have been easier for me. It was very GW speak, and it would have been easier for me just to say, these are the kill zone pieces, and these are the maps that you use, and these ones use these ones, and I don't understand why they need to differentiate. Maybe it will become clear further down the line, but I don't think it will.
Also, they call it like a supplement. It's like, well, it's not a supplement because it came in the box, so it should all be part of the same thing.
Also true. I don't get the use of the word supplement there. That's a very small thing. It doesn't really matter. I've had a quick flick through the book. It's got a really nice extra detailed campaign system. So it actually suggests that you have a campaign manager. That isn't what they call them. That's a political thing. But they do actually suggest you have a games master almost to run things. And I think they can still play, but and it has loads of things that you can do to make the campaign more interesting. So there are different levels of campaign. There are some asymmetric narrative campaign setups. I think there's 9, and the first 3 are fairly simple, and they get more complicated. And then there's a set of match play, more symmetrical ones, but it just so you can use it for any of the three ways to play. And then on top of that, there's this whole extra stuff with the games master, and having basically you map out using playing cards the zones in the in the Space Hulk, and you fight for ownership of that. A
bit like Necromunda. That's how Necromunda zones.
And it's very atmospheric, and I'm really, in a way that I wasn't at all for Oxarius, I'm really excited about what is coming next, because it talks about how the Space Hulk is basically bits of ship that are smashed together.
Yeah, Space Hulks are all loads and loads of different ships that have all got fused together in the warp, and there's Eldar and Orc and Chaos.
So they could do so much with it, and they can kind of, because it disappears into the warp and goes, they could sort of underworld it a little bit, so you could get a whole new kind of alien race, or not race, but hybrid. Yeah, they could do something really interesting.
Really,
exactly. So I really hope they do. I think there's definitely going to be some chaos involved there. They talk a lot about chaos things that are in here. So.
I'm kind of looking for an excuse to buy the Chaos box for the kill teams, but I also am looking for an excuse to buy more Death Guard to make the Death Guard one up more.
So I'm really hoping that we get into this with our simple playing version of it. I'm really hoping we get into it because I would actually quite like to follow, because they're going to, again, I get the impression that they're going to add to the Gallo Deep story rather than, I think the other boxes were kind of a bit more on their own, though I haven't seen them, I don't 100% know that, but I feel like they're going to build up into this amazing Space Hulk that you can play over.
Also, if you could put all 4 together, and then or one great big long one as it gets more 3D. And more into the wall. 3D. The best thing about Kill Team are the boards. 3D the boards.
That'll be awesome. Very excited about it. There is a few extra new rules for fighting in cramped spaces, but not a lot. There's one thing I do like is it's only one level. So we haven't got confusion over vantage points and things.
And theoretically, it is the same. It's exactly the same core book. We did have a quick look through it, and we couldn't find any evidence to suggest they've updated it in any way at all. No. So it's the same core book. It's the same mission cards that you get in the other packs. Yeah. So that's all the same. If you own them already, you maybe don't need to buy this. You could wait for the relevant sets to come out that you want to buy and go for that instead.
Usually the way these things work out, this is going to be the cheapest way to buy it.
But if you already have the other one and you own it with a friend or something, then they can just take the core book and then you've got one each that way. So
we're going to slice ours up and spiralise it.
Oh, yes.
So there you go. So
I did have a very brief look at the special rules for the Kroot and the other guys, and they didn't look as brain crunching as the Krieg did from the first set. So whether they've learned the lesson a bit and they've tried to create some slightly simpler kill teams this time round to make it better, I don't know.
I can't 100% remember on the Krieg, but I don't remember it being so obvious that you could just take 10 standard guys.
I think we were just overwhelmed with the pretty, and we've learned from those mistakes now. But like the Krieg, they had all of those. You had like 2 different sets of commands that you could give people. They don't have this quite in the same way.
No.
I think that's a Krieg specific thing, and I think they've learned not to do that. I don't know. I know we're not their target demographic.
Maybe they've just started making games for idiots. I'm not sure.
Well, then we're quids in.
So there you go. So that is the Kill Team box, Into the Dark. I'm as excited about a Games Workshop product as I have been for a long time for this.
That's strong.
I do like it. I'm really looking forward to playing with the terrain. So hopefully the game, we can get some games in.
Yeah, and like you say, the lack of different levels means things should be a bit simpler when playing. Line of sight should be simpler to work out.
Well, it's kind of like, unless doors open, if
there's no doors open, you can't see anyone. So.
Pretty much, if you're in the same corridor, you can see them. I think there might be a few angles.
Yeah, I think coming around corners.
Other than that,
for the most part, it's just in case. So I'm just going to move an extra ½ inch so I can see you. And there's no covering it. We'll be happy with that. So, and I think this might scratch our Necromunda itch without having to go to the depths of Necromunda.
I think we talked about this maybe at the beginning of the video last week.
Yeah, possibly.
But I just where the sweet spot for me is running around the ships shooting things. I think that basically
who doesn't like that?
My sci-fi.
Space Crusade, Space Hulk. Yeah. I mean, they're all winners.
Yeah, Star Wars on the Death Star.
Yeah, there's a reason why they're all good, because you're running around a spaceship shooting each other.
Exactly. So there you go. So that is Kill Team Into the Dark. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are new to us because you found it via the Kill Team stuff, which we don't normally do, I have to say, but do like and subscribe and all that sort of thing, because we have lots of all sorts of exciting content that you can come and watch.
Yeah, please do that, and we'll be playing, like we say, we'll be bringing this to the channel at some point. It might all be painted at that stage, where we might just try and get a game in quickly without it all being painted, just because we're desperate to get it to the table, and we'll play a live game at some point.
Absolutely. I think probably the most you would like to see is us playing Space Marines versus Necrons or something.
If you want painted, yes, if you want painted.
And then slowly.
Yeah, I mean, we've got some Orcs and Krieg.
We have got some Orcs and Krieg, yeah. But no, I'm not playing that.
No, never again. never ever.
If we hadn't painted the scenery, you'd lose the Krieg.
You would. They'd be gone.
They'd be super camouflaged. And we'll see you soon on the Age of Sigmar.